Okay, so let's dive right in. Pretty much every large company has them. These critical, aging systems that are packed with decades of essential business logic. The huge question is always, how in the world do you modernize them without losing all of that priceless knowledge? Well, today we're going to break down a new approach designed to solve that exact problem.
I mean, just think about it for a second. All those old wikis, those PDF guides, those design documents, heck, even just that tribal knowledge that lives only in the heads of a few key people. This stuff is literally the DNA of your business operations, but it's so often locked away, which makes any kind of modernization project incredibly risky.
And this slide really lays it out. On one side, you've got the reality for most companies, static documents that are basically out of date the moment a developer starts coding. This creates this ever-widening gap between what you think the system does and what it actually does in production. The dream, on the other side, is what we call living specifications, docs that stay perfectly, automatically in sync with the real system.
And that gap, that drift, it's not just some minor annoyance. It has real, serious costs. It causes a constant disconnect between the business leaders who know what's needed and the technical teams trying to build it. It opens up huge compliance and audit risks, and maybe worst of all, you end up with fuzzy, ambiguous specs that lead to lost business logic. It's a modernization trap that so many organizations fall right into.
So, how do you get out of that trap? Well, the solution we're looking at today isn't just another general-purpose chatbot. No, this is a whole new category of tool, something called an intelligent preprocessor. And it's built for one specific job, to be the bridge between business intent and technical execution. So what does that actually mean? Basically, an intelligent preprocessor takes all of those messy, unstructured, conversational business ideas and systematically turns them into gold. The output isn't just a simple summary, it's a complete package of fully traceable, crystal clear, and deployment-ready technical specifications.
This right here shows a crucial difference. With a generic AI tool, every conversation is its own separate thing. It's like having amnesia every time you start a new chat, so the context is always getting lost. But with Alchemist AI, the whole project lives inside a single shared context. This means multiple stakeholders can chime in over time, building on each other's work, while the AI makes sure everything stays aligned and consistent.
Okay, so that's what it is. But how does it actually work? Well, it all follows a really clear three-stage process. It really just boils down to these three key steps: ingest, elicit, and specify. This whole framework is the secret sauce to turning all that scattered legacy knowledge into a structured, valuable asset. Let's dig into each one. First up, context ingestion. Alchemist literally reads and absorbs all of your existing documentation. And here's the really clever part. It uses a feature called brownfield grafting. Instead of starting from a blank slate, it inherits all the context from your previous software versions. This preserves the entire project history, making sure you don't accidentally lose important features during the modernization. Next up is Socratic elicitation, and honestly, this is a total game changer for collaboration. Your business leaders can just talk to the AI conversationally, explaining what they need in their own words. The AI then acts like the world's most patient business analyst. It asks clarifying questions, refines the ideas, gets rid of duplicate requests, and organizes everything. It's a real dialogue that finally closes that communication gap. And finally, the specification engine. This is where all that refined input gets turned into a complete, ready-to-use package for your developers. And I mean the whole shebang. Version-controlled requirements with zero ambiguity, architectural diagrams, recommendations on the best tech stack, and even a full implementation plan. And because this process is so structured, the efficiency gains are just wow. We're talking about a 90% reduction in processing overhead compared to trying to do this with a generic conversational AI. Think about it. Work that would normally take weeks of painstaking manual analysis can now get done in just a matter of hours. But look, creating a perfect spec is really only half the battle, right? The real challenge is keeping it from going stale the second a developer starts writing code. And that's where this idea of a living connection comes into play. So Alchemist doesn't just, email you a PDF and call it a day. It actually builds and maintains a permanent closed-loop connection directly with your code repository, whether that's GitHub, GitLab, or something else. So check out how this works. A developer pushes some new code. Alchemist is constantly watching, and it immediately detects that the code is now different from the approved spec. And here's the kicker. It automatically updates the specification for you. This means your documentation always, and I mean always, reflects what's actually running in production. Documentation drift is eliminated, and you're always ready for an audit. Now, to keep everything perfectly consistent, there's this really powerful governance feature called Golden Words. This basically enforces an approved dictionary for the entire project. So a critical term, like authorization, means the exact same thing everywhere, in the initial requirements, in the final spec, and even in the code comments. No more confusion, just total clarity. All right, we've been deep in the tech, so let's zoom out a bit. What does all of this actually mean for the business? What's the real, tangible value that this kind of approach delivers? When you really boil it all down, it delivers on 4 key promises. First, speed, because it's just so much faster. Second, traceability. That live connection to the code means you're always audit ready. Third, legacy readiness, by actually using your decades of knowledge instead of throwing it away. And finally, cost controls, thanks to a really transparent financial model. And let's talk about that pricing model for a sec, because it's completely different from what you might expect. It is 100% consumption-based. There are no subscriptions, no per-user seat licenses. Every single action in the system has a clearly published cost, so every dollar you spend is tied directly to a trackable piece of work. And of course, for bigger companies, there are custom enterprise plans available. And this quote right here, it just nails it, doesn't it? The point isn't just to chat with an AI. The real goal is to create that seamless, rock-solid bridge between what the business needs and what the technology team actually builds. That's the unique job that an intelligent preprocessor is built to do. So, I'll just leave you with this one final thought. Imagine delivering projects faster, with full compliance, with all your institutional knowledge preserved, and with transparent costs. What could your team, what could your entire organization achieve if your most critical system specifications were always automatically, perfectly in sync with reality?